your final warning. It's time for Midnight Sedge in the morning. The gang is ready to go, and it's time for the show. It's time for Midnight Sedge in the morning.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Midnight Sedge in the morning. It's Friday. The gangs are all here, almost at least. The rest will be here. And hey, we even got the titles back. Perfect. What more could you ask for? I know what more we could ask for. We could ask for Tom in the morning, who just joined us. So that is fantastic. With a doggy in the background. Also joining us, Mr. Paul Chateau.
Yes, hello. It's cold and snowy, like really cold, and getting
Yeah, funny.
colder.
Here as well. It's nice and snowy today.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm inside a house and not a tent.
Yeah, that does help. I'm also glad I'm in a house. But yeah. How about you, Chris? It's snowing where you are.
Not quite. We're expecting some snow to arrive late tonight. Not sure if it's going to be ice or 2 feet of snow, but I'm hoping for the latter.
You're in Tennessee, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so I mean, are you guys used to snow down there?
Sadly, no. But I'm very proud to say, I'm going to brag a bit. We have a generator, a pretty big one that I actually had an electrician come and do a reverse outdoor plug so I can fire that puppy up, plug it into the house, switch something on my breaker box, and I'm running juice through the whole house.
Yeah, it's that's getting very popular up here too. Some kind of Gentech or whatever the name of the thing is. It runs off your gas.
This is before that, so I still have to use petrol for this, but I've got a little in storage, so we're doing.
I just have to say, as a Canadian, one of the more basic joys that we have is watching footage from south of the border in the Tennessee and below Texas, and watching cars sliding all over the road on only a half inch of snow.
Places like Indiana, to be fair. Now, I've been up in Indiana like in January and February, and they do okay. I mean, the kids still go to school on 10 inches of snow. Now in Tennessee, we cancel school even if there's just snow in the forecast. So it's sad.
They do that in the UK as well. At least they did when I did my master's there. And to say nothing about the Canary Islands, where I lived the last 2 years. I mean, never mind snow. There they cancel school if there was an alert for rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different
standards. Different standards.
That's right.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's nice and snowy at Tom's location as well, since that's Norway on American soil, in addition to Hungary and a few other places. But we also have the everyone out here in the chat is here. We have the Warlock is here. Doba Fett is here. Jill Powers is here. I saw she sent a very nice greetings to all of us. Thanks for that.
Thanks, Jill.
Hyperdiver is here. Valentine Puppy is here. Griffin's View is here, and so many more. So everyone, please smash that like. Let everyone know that we are live. And we're about to get going here. We have a couple of super chats to get us starting, and they are a little bit He-Man heavy, as I think there's a fair chance that today's stream might be. Grimzilla starts us off saying, Skeletor has got to say bumbling boob once.
Bumbling boob?
Yes. Yeah, that would be fun, but let's see how it works with the tone of the movie and exactly what they do there. And Hypergiver 2 says for $10, the last thing I wanted in a Motu movie is a blatant emulation of Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor Ragnarok. I do like that the character designs emulate the Sideshow / Mondo designs, and I hope the pronouns are part of a joke. Almost guaranteed. I mean, you could tell from the setting that he's in a corporate environment. that stuff would have been there. I don't think that's the movie making a statement.
No,
No, I don't
I
think
agree
so
with you. It's
at
a
all.
joke.
Yeah, total
gotta be.
joke. Total joke.
Yeah,
It's
he's
a joke that-
cubicle.
yeah, it's a joke that maybe would have been better saved for the movie proper than
Yeah.
the trailer, given the environment. But still, yeah, I'm.
It's
of
an
all my
infinite-
worries,
It's an
Pretty terrible.
effeminate corporate business environment,
Right.
and he's
He-Man is there.
yeah. You know, I say that I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. I totally understand people who are unwilling to give them the benefit of the doubt. At this
Right.
point. Totally get it.
Fatigue. It's,
And
it's
So maybe I'm just being a romantic, less cynical, more romantic today, but I'm going to give them the benefit.
I think though because of the length of time it takes any kind of movie to be manufactured, I think the unfortunate part is that they've now hit the point where it's really not a joke. We don't. It's not a question of us not wanting to see it. The joke is past.
Yeah.
It's an old joke now. So
Exactly.
even though I think
It's not just that, it's that it's a joke, period. That is what I have a problem with. And that's
Wow.
what most people are not
yes,
understanding.
I agree with you.
Because
Yeah.
I don't want this to be a fucking joke. That's what because that's
Yeah.
my problem with Mutant Mayhem. Is that Seth Rogen didn't fucking understand Ninja Turtles. He come off like a parent whose kid was into Ninja Turtles, but they didn't get it. Right? And that was their interpretation of it. This is getting close to that. If that's all this is a bunch of what's going on memes and gay fucking in jokes and pronoun jokes and modernity fucking spread all over this with a bunch of nostalgia for the 80s, I'm going to puke in my fucking seat.
Well,
Because that's not what I want.
well,
I
think,
want a fucking serious He-Man movie for once. I don't want Barbie goddamn 2.
it looks like it's going to be a quipping.
Barbie goddamn 2.
It's going to be a
Probably.
quipping fest,
Yeah.
is what
Quip
this is going
fest.
to be.
Well,
And it
yeah.
needs Beastmasters.
Yeah.
I want Beastmaster 3.
That's the problem is they're remaking Beastmaster 2.
Are they? Oh yeah.
It's pretty
they
much
are.
the same fucking thing. And we're going to get into this. Look, guys, we're getting rehashed, recycled junk.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
look at
There's a
D&D.
video coming about this, I'm sure. So, yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons was just on the edge of being tolerable.
Yeah.
But that's different. See, Dungeons and Dragons has such a broad scope to what it could be, right?
Yeah.
Like, He-Man, we have yet to get a decent, straightforward, serious He-Man movie since the 87 Lundgren movie. And even then, that movie, most people shit all over for one main reason. And that's one of my biggest problems with this movie. Why the fuck are we on Earth?
Yeah.
Well, that's how it starts.
There's no reason we should be on fucking Earth.
I think you're right, Tom. I do think that it could still have a serious and then sort of the more you know message if they don't mock masculinity. I mean, if they really show him being heroic, being valorous, saving the day, a leader, masculine, etc. And then this is just sort of, you know, like how at the beginning of The Matrix or Fight Club or something like that. I can't remember who was saying it, but you know, you're sort of in this oppressive corporate environment, right? And then once he realizes who he truly is, this true power, it could be interesting. But I agree that just putting it on Earth right out of the gate. But you know, one of the best Star Trek films for some people is the Star Trek where they're on, you know, in the 80s on Earth, right?
And I just want to say this up front because since I've had issues with this, there's a lot of people trying to throw Superman in my face.
Okay.
No, there's a difference. Superman wasn't making fun of Superman. There wasn't a shit ton of Superman memes in Superman, right? Like it wasn't like every 5 seconds we were turning around and being reminded of some Superman meme. No, Superman was paying homage to the golden age / Filmation / you know, Super
Ray.
Friends Superman.
Yeah.
Right? That's the difference. This is not paying homage to the Filmation series. This is making fun of it. This is making fun of what He-Man is. This is people who have been making memes for the last 20 fucking years about how gay He-Man is without actually fucking watching it. These are the same people that go around saying, oh, you're taking it too seriously because it's nothing but a 30-minute commercial for a toy. That's what bothers me, is that they're not taking it as seriously as they should.
Well, it's more a function of it's only going to work if it believes in its own lore. That's the trick
Yeah.
with these kinds of movies, to the point where I wish all the creatures, everything I saw in there, I wish it was stop action animation. You know, it would have been way more fun if it had that Harryhausen feel
Or
to it.
costumes, at least.
Yeah. So, anyways,
both.
these kinds of movies have to be treated like Naked Gun, not from a humor perspective, but I mean, everyone, like Beastmasters, everyone took it absolutely the right tone of the movie. And then there's that other one, I can't remember, name starting with S, that I've recently saw that I thought was really, really good, by the trans director, Andre. Can't remember the name of the.
Oh, you're
Solomon
thinking
Kane.
of Solomon Kane, yeah.
Solomon Kane. Wow,
Perfect.
that had absolutely the perfect tone.
Yeah.
That's exactly, and that's all we want for He-Man.
That's
We're
all we
not
want.
getting that.
Yeah.
Yes, that
And we'll
we are-
get it.
Well-
Maybe. I mean, I hope so. I hope that
Yeah.
whatever jokiness that they've got here is just a very light touch, or maybe it's just a subject of contrasting masculinity. I don't know.
Well, then the other side of it, some people are
He-Man,
like, well,
right?
at least the look of it's okay. I'm like, yeah, some of it looks okay, but this should look like a Frank Frazetta painting, not a fucking Marvel movie.
He's definitely
That's
not
my
as
problem,
buff as
too.
Dolph Lundgren. He's
Hell,
definitely,
don't even get me started on that. Let's talk about the fact that Adam looks the same no matter what.
yeah.
He-Man and Adam are interchangeable in this show.
Yeah.
That was only that way in the original show because it was to save on money. In
Yeah.
every other version, Adam is a puny little. It's like Captain America compared, to when he's
Oh,
Steve
Thor.
Rogers.
Thor and Dr. Not Dr. Banner.
Or even Thor. Yeah. Blake.
Blake. Dr. Blake.
Can't remember his
I mean,
exact
there's
name.
way
Yeah.
too much Thor in this
Oh,
in terms of the Earth and
I am
Asgard.
hearing Ragnarok, very Ragnarok looking. Even had somebody in the comments section at Bleeding Fool ask, say it looks like AI because it's so much computer generated.
Yeah, about that actually, because as I was checking for the trailer yesterday, it's like every 10 minutes there would drop a new AI trailer.
Yeah.
And when the real one dropped, for the first 45 seconds, I thought I was looking at another AI thing that fans are made. So YouTube are right to strike down on that. But about the movie, this is the point that I was making in the video yesterday. Like, my problem is, like, I think that Travis Knight, he's our hope right now, because the movie started with a very weak script that came before him. This was the point I was making, that this script has been there since the days of Amy Pascal. So this is what they were doing then. And incredibly, that take, which was a pretty weak one, survived both Sony, it survived Netflix, and it survived all the way into Amazon. And then Travis Knight came aboard, and then he reworked it. So our hope is that he has reworked it into something that's going to be fun and respectful of the lore. The kind of He-Man movie that those of us who are really into this would have liked, that's not happening anyway. So the best thing we can do is that the movie we are getting overall is going to be fairly decent. That's the best hope that we have. I've heard more things about the movie, which gives me a little bit more hope. But we shall see here. It's definitely going to be funny, but hopefully it's going to be fun in a way that respects with the lore. So it's funny, laughs with the lore rather than at it, because those are two very, very different things.
Do you think they're going for a Minecraft kind of level humor?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so, because I mean, that's the Minecraft. That's for a much, much younger audience. I think they're well aware that the core audience here are guys who are in their mid to late 40s right about now. But at the same time, they have to make it appealing to anyone, which is why obviously you have like younger stars and everything like that. So it's a balancing act, to be sure. and I hope they've been able to pull it off. That they've made some kind of amalgamation. That's all the hope we have. Certainly looks right. Apart from like AI, I don't know how much AI went into this, or maybe we're just gun shy and see AI in everything because that's everywhere now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hmm.
I'm a little worried that about Jared Leto. He's always sort of been one of these. I've never been impressed with Jared Leto. I'll just say
No.
that. I knew him when he was in 30 Seconds to Mars, and I was producing a television series called Fuel TV. We would go out and interview bands, and Leto was an odd duck even back then. That was back in 2000, I guess, or 99, 2000, no, 2002. I'm sorry. And after the stench of Tron Ares, and really he was the worst part of Blade Runner 2049 in my mind, or 2019. I can't remember what number it was. 2049, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
This is everyone on this panel will admit that the Skeletor from the 80s version was the core of that movie being enjoyable, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't know that they've given Leto any scenes that he's going to be able to chew. And even if they did, I'm worried that he can't do it. And so go ahead.
That's the thing. We're downgrading here, if you ask me, from fucking Frank Langella to Jared Leto.
Yeah.
That's a huge downgrade. And let me throw another one out there. Remember how I was one of the few people who pointed out that the Mario movie was basically the same damn thing that everybody bitched about the 93 movie? They're the same movie. If you really watch them, they're the same plot. They even end the same. And if this movie turns out to be the same goddamn thing, because I have a feeling, Andre, there's a shot of Beastmaster jumping on a car.
Yeah.
My guess is that they come back to Earth by the end of the movie. So this movie's going to end fairly similar to the original film.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
He's not only going to
It's
have
also
to
a
save
downgrade.
Eternia, he's going to have to save Earth.
Yep.
You watch.
And he's also a downgrade from Dolph Lundgren, if I'm being
Oh
honest.
God. And that's what I'm saying. Like, couldn't you get two different actors or even do the CGI thing like they did with Captain America?
Yeah, that actually surprised me because I thought that they were setting that up in Masters of the Universe Revelation and Revolutions. And when you look at some of the earlier casts, like for instance, the guy who was cast before.
I'm sorry, I meant Beastman. Sorry, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because the previous guy who was cast, I mean, he was very athletic, very strong, but he's also very tiny and puny, and he couldn't.
Well, I mean, they have that scene in the trailer where he pulls out the sword and he's fighting, and he looks soft. I mean, Dolph Lundgren looks swole. I think
the sword's as big as this kid. Dolph Lundgren looks like he could swing around a sword. Like, he's huge.
Yeah, and even speaking of Chris Evans from Captain America, I mean, he even got jacked up, for that sequence of the transformation in the first Captain America movie, right?
To say nothing of Chris Pratt in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, shockingly. So I mean, they should have used the Marvel trainers on this guy and got him beefed up.
Well,
just
for all we know,
because
they might
obviously the comparisons are everywhere now online, and when you just look at Dolph, he wasn't quite as big as the toy, but good gosh, he looked like a monster. He was so big and not necessarily so big. I mean, cut. Really, that's the key, is the cutting. You have to be super cut to pull this off. And this guy just didn't. I wasn't impressed.
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed with Dolph's acting.
No.
Dolph didn't have to do anything, though. That was the thing.
Epitomizing the toy character.
I had Langella, so he wouldn't have to act. So we could all
absolutely
Langella and Skeletor. While
Frank was great.
Yeah, exactly. That was
he chewed the scenery, and he made like you guys were saying. Like,
is Idris Elba the only notable actor in this movie?
No, you got a few that they're hiding, and that's the thing that's kind of bothered me, is like, because you got Mariana, whatever the hell her name, Baraka, the chick from Deadpool. Yeah, that chick. She's playing the sorceress, so I think she'll be fine. The chick playing Evil Lynn looks like she'll be fine. I mean, I have no problem with If they would have made Tila look more like Tila, it wouldn't have been fine. But again, we have Tila here instead of Tila.
Yeah.
And which is funny because if you watch the original series, and I pointed this out last night, she is the whitest character on that show. And I mean that sincerely. Like, look at her compared to everybody else. She is painted like almost pure fucking white. He-Man, all the other men, they're all tan as can be. Evil Lynn has a different shade of white.
Mhm.
She's a more paler shade of
yellow.
white.
He-Man always had a yellow kind of cap.
Yeah, but basically that bronze-looking tan color. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's you spoke about actors. There's one actor that certainly Chato is going to appreciate, namely James Purefoy, aka Solomon Kane himself.
Oh, that's right.
His
King
Randor.
Randor. Yeah,
Who has not seen it all in this movie, so that tells me he probably gets killed in the first act. Because note, it's only Mommy sending him to Earth.
Yep. What do you think of Eternia, Tom, and how it looks?
Looks like fucking Wakanda.
Okay.
Is it so hard? Can I just get something that looks like a Frank Frazetta painting for once in my goddamn life? Is it that hard?
yes, it's that hard. I wish it wasn't so, but it's that hard. Our best chance of getting that was Fire and Ice from what's his face?
Bash.
What?
Or
no,
shit,
the
any
name.
of the other guys that worked on it. I know a few
No,
other
no,
people.
no, no,
were
no,
named
no,
in
no,
the
no.
chat,
It
but-
was supposed to be a live action remake that
Oh.
got stalled by the
No. I'm talking
Weinsteins.
about the paintings because I know it wasn't Frazetta who did the He-Man paintings, but I'm just saying that style that evokes.
Well, basically, the guy who did the He-Man paintings, there were 2 or 3 of them actually. who
Yeah,
did
there
all
were.
those paintings.
And I'm trying to remember the
And
one
they-
guy's name.
And
but-
they had one job description that was make it look like Frazetta painted this, but not so much that Frazetta will sue us.
yeah, Rodriguez del Toro.
Yes, Rodriguez.
About
something like
1
that,
minute
yeah.
into the trailer, Adam goes into, I guess it's a comic shop
Well,
or
Tom, let's bring up the trailer because I know what you're getting at, and that's one thing that I really appreciated about it as well. Given that the sword is in such a mundane location, where it was pretty sweet. But Chris, take it from there.
well, and what I was just going to kind of speak to Tom's point is the statue or whatever is holding what I think looks like a great rendition of the sword. That character holding it looks like a Frank Frazetta.
It's
Yeah.
actually Velcor that's
Yeah.
holding it.
Yeah,
Okay,
Vicor,
yeah.
I think it is.
So-
Or Vicor, I mean, not Velcor.
Are
Yes,
you able to
my
show
fault.
that on the screen?
I am half awake. I'm trying to find the image right now.
Okay, yeah, it's
Yeah,
1
find
minute
it.
into the
Anyway,
trailer exactly.
Yeah.
And,
We actually
um,
have that character referenced because that is not an accident. Because there's some uncertainty of the very first image of He-Man. Because there he looks just like that. There's some uncertainty if that is meant to be Conan or if it's meant to be He-Man. It is made by the same designer who came up with the final designs and everything. But
Okay.
he also worked on the Conan line for Mattel that they had the rights to, that they took just to keep it so no one else could have it. And for that, so the character you see there could very well actually be Conan for the defunct Conan line. But later, that art was appropriated into He-Man, and that character, which is Conan, was given the name Vicor. And he also appears in Masters of the Universe
Okay.
Revelation.
I have no
We-
idea.
we
what
have
I've
the
that
got
is.
original
hey,
sketch in our
Tom, I've got
videos.
it down in the
Okay.
share if you can show it.
Yeah, there you go.
The
Yeah.
mere fact that we can discuss things
I
at
just
thi-
found it.
this at this depth, I think, is embarrassing.
Well, and this is part of my post, and there's a lot of people that are just triggered like a mofo over my post. But if you actually read it, first of all, who gives a shit what anybody's opinion is? Second of all, my post that says, if you're over the age of 50 and under the age of 45, I don't give a shit about your opinion of the opinion of people of what they think of the Motu trailer. Basically, I don't care what you think. Why? Because if you weren't that core age, that was the core age that was a little kid when He-Man was first introduced, saw the peak, and was young enough to still see the decline. Every other age group would either be just too young or too old. would be a teenager by the time He-Man was at its peak, whatever. But people are losing their fucking minds over it, calling me a gatekeeper. It's like, all it says is I don't care about your opinion of the opinion of others. And you're losing your fucking mind over it.
Well, I think this is a property that you are very attached to, like the Turtles. I think those are a couple that you just don't like to see any different sort of interpretations, particularly if it's one that's going to mock or is one that's done very lousy, like the Turtles stuff. Because they've been
Well,
good.
there's a thing. Yeah, I mean, when I grew up, I mean, of course, every kid knew who Superman, Batman. I loved all that stuff. I had my other stuff. But there was three main things in my childhood that I remember growing up. He-Man was like one of the first things that I was into. Then it was Ghostbusters. Then it was Ninja Turtles. Then it was women. Okay, so that's like you know what I mean? Like, that's my age of growing up. Started with He-Man, moved into Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, and then I'm like, fuck toys. I don't care about any of that shit anymore. Pussy. Right? Like, that was where my life went. And then it was when I got nostalgic for the stuff that I went back for it. But those are my three main franchises as far as I'm concerned. Like, those are the things that I grew up on. I was born into them. I was one of the main people that was my thing. Right? Like, every day in, day out, it was He-Man, or it was Ghostbusters. It was TMNT, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that was my life for years. So yes, this means a lot to me. Right? And I've seen franchises like Transformers and G.I. Joe be treated the way they have. And fortunately, He-Man hasn't been trampled like that. Now, the Kevin Smith series, that's one thing, right? But He-Man hasn't been destroyed the way some of these other franchises have. And this is what I'm afraid of and I get it. Some people are like, well, you just need to lighten up. It's just a few jokes and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but that'd be fine if this was the third film in the franchise. Because look, Thor is a great example, right? Right. Ragnarok is when they finally went comedy. But then they went too far with Love and Thunder, right? So, like, to me, it's like you had a first film that was probably pitch perfect, a lot of seriousness with a little bit of comedy mixed in. The second film, way too fucking serious, right? The third film, great comedy, but it's not as serious as the first two films. And I understand where people weren't as much of a fan of that part, but that to me, the comedy worked. The third film was too much comedy and not enough seriousness, especially when you're making a movie about cancer. Right, like that's a problem. It shouldn't be that comedic. But anyway, how hard is it just to get us a regular He-Man movie? That's all I'm asking for. Right.
It's like I said the other day, I think Kevin Smith kind of messed that up. You know,
I think he did too. Well, that's why this movie ended up where it's at, I'm sure.
For me, I hope they never try to do Stretch Armstrong because I'm so just kidding.
I don't think
my brother was into He-Man. I was not. Yeah. My brother's 8 years younger than me, so I mean, I'm probably more like Paul. I get. I certainly get the attachment, particularly if it's a toy that was meaningful to you growing up. But I'm just one of those that I'm like, let's just see how it goes. I mean, I honestly, I was hoping for a better Land of the Lost movie until Will Ferrell screwed that up. Right. It was
I actually liked that one.
I hated it, but I liked Land of the Lost. Right. So, I mean, maybe I wanted real slee stacks, they were real, but I really wanted a danger and adventure and Will and Holly going down the river and all that. So I feel like it just depends on what your experience is. And there's a lot of people with the shared experience of really loving this toy line and this property and the cartoons, and they'd like to see it done well. When I say I blame Kevin Smith, I think it's, he was doing one that you might say is supposed to be a faithful adaptation of the, with all the lore there, and he really totally ruined it. It was a disaster, and he lied not to mention that he lied to everybody and everything else. But I think maybe, I saw enough in this trailer that I was like, okay, I'll check this out. This might be fun. To Paul's point, kind of Dungeons and Dragons in a way. But you're right, Tom. It is this is a very focused property. It's not, as ubiquitous as Barbie for sure, which all women could identify with. This is something different, and hopefully they've treated it special. It's hard to say.
The bigger problem with Kevin is, and the farther I get away from it, the more I give him a pass, because he thought he was making Wrath of Khan.
Mm.
He thought he was doing something good for the fans.
Wasn't making it. He was.
Oh, we lost Andre.
We lost Andre, but I think Andre was going to say pretty much close to what but my point was going to be is that he was being influenced by somebody because he wasn't a fan of He-Man. He didn't really grow up with it. He was already too old. He's in that
Right.
group that I was saying that I don't care about your opinion of the opinion of fans in this group, because this group was actually the core kid group when it grew up. Yes, there was fans that were a little older. Yes, there was fans that were a little younger, but you also weren't a part of that specific group. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people forget that this was the biggest franchise of all time at one point. This was the first toy line to come along and beat Barbie. People don't realize how big He-Man was for a half a second in the world. And that's the group I was talking about. And that's where it's like there's the people that are making this. I hope Travis Knight gets it. I hope he's closer to my age, because at this point, I feel like anybody throughout anywhere around that who doesn't get the original show, didn't watch it, doesn't understand that just because it was a TV show that was made about a toy, Lou Scheimer went above and beyond that, right? You got people who worked on the show that wrote like on Star Trek and stuff, and that went on to work on like Batman the Animated Series and stuff like that. This was the first TV show of its kind. And I think people forget about that and they don't treat it with enough respect. At least not the same kind of respect that even things like Transformers gets, at least. To a lot of people, He-Man's just a joke, a big gay joke.
The first Transformers actually had the right balance.
The first movie, yes, the Michael Bay film,
movie had the perfect balance of treating these bizarre creatures with seriousness. They weren't making fun of these toys. I mean, that's a toy franchise. Yeah, Transformers 1 is a better blueprint than Ragnarok.
Well, I liked Ragnarok. I mean,
I loved Ragnarok. It was great. But then they, as Tom said, all the executives went, wow, this was successful because of all the humor. No,
right.
It was successful because it was the proper mix of seriousness and
they just
humor.
said,
and
they managed to.
Can you undermine the legitimacy of Thor and his minions for laughs? You can't do that. That then you just kill it. It's just not the way it works.
Kind of like how Star Trek 4 at that point you can do humor. But again, that movie is not making fun of its characters. Yes, they're fish out of water, but it's not making fun of them. It's but at that point it's a little different kind of story. Now, if you were doing a He-Man series and by the fourth movie they wind up in some wacky way getting sent back to Earth or getting sent to Earth in some way, and you want to do a fish out of story water for part 4, fine.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of like with Megan, like I'm sitting here going, what the fuck are you doing turning Megan into a good guy already in the second film? Your second film in a horror movie is always the killer's revenge, you dumbass. You don't do that kind of crap until the third or fourth movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
well,
even Skeletor,
to be fair, they were trying to emulate the Terminator 2, I guess.
Exactly. And even Skeletor is a great example because one of the best episodes of He-Man and She-Ra is the Christmas special where Skeletor actually resists being good because the spirit of the holiday keeps making him want to do good things. And he's like, I'm not nice. That to me is one of the best ones. And that's probably one of the jokier ones but it's still taking itself seriously.
Would you I just wanted to ask that though, Tom, if they were taking that seriously the way you like, but they did some kind of Christmas pastiche, like the cartoon, and we're making it kind of jokey with some of these in character, in lore jokes, how would you feel about that?
I don't know. It has to be earned. See, that's the thing is,
okay,
it's a tightrope that's really tough to walk when you have something like that. If it's set up that way from the start, that's one thing, but He-Man was always earnest. It was always taking itself seriously. And if you actually watch the show, don't just watch it from, stepping back and watching it from just the hype and the idea of you got a bunch of these weird, wacky characters that are dressed in next to nothing, all with the last name Man, and they're all buff. That's the thing is that the instantly people jump to this gay joke thing.
Naturally.
Right?
I mean, that today they will naturally. And you think about it, it's like the Brendan Fraser Dudley Do Right. I mean, this is no different than that's the way they see it. It's a cartoon made about a toy from the 80s. This is going to be fun. So that's immediately what they think. And then all the people on staff are like, oh, have you seen this gay parody thing where Skeletor and He-Man have a romance or whatever? And here's all the fun Skeletor memes where he says something and runs off that's all over social media, right?
They're
So,
hilarious.
yeah.
They are, but I don't want that in my movie.
Well, I hear what you're saying because it needs to be something that is earned. Like if it did start, because I don't want jokes in the very first Thor movie, even though I didn't think it was the best movie.
Unfortunately,
it didn't even start
Tom,
out jokey.
Yeah, the movie that you want and the one that I wanted too hasn't been in development since 2009 when it
You're
was
not
at
wrong.
Warner and Silver Pictures. So the kind of movie that we wanted was never going to happen because
They got-
it's been with Sony. The option was not on the table because you didn't have anyone in charge there who was able to say, this is what we need to do. Here's the first 3 episodes of the 2002 series. Go. That should be self-obvious. I think that's what would be far more important than and appropriate for this day and age than the movie that we end up getting, which is something that should have come out in the kind of like 2018. We're getting a movie that I feel is a few years out of time. That is the movie we're getting, though. And honestly, and this is really, I'm not saying this is good news, I'm just saying that this is the reality check, that with Travis Knight and what I've heard that he has done with the concept, this is the best shape the movie has been in ever since it was with Warner.
Here's my thing. It'll probably be a watchable film, and Travis Knight's the reason.
Yes,
I agree with you
correct.
there, Andre.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it still will be a piss poor He-Man movie. And you know, and I know you're going to have the I've had the time of your life dance sequence. You know that they're going to have some sort of reference to Skeletor running away. You know, they're going to have the what's going on meme. You know, they're going to have every inserted gay joke here and there, because I'm not so sure that anybody who made this movie actually watched the fucking Filmation TV show. I'm not wholly convinced. Like, I'm not even sure that Marlena's from Earth. I think she just sends him there from the way this looks. 'Cause, I mean, looking at this trailer, I'm like looking at it going, you can kind of surmise what the whole story is, because this is something we haven't got to yet. This is recycled, rehashed junk. This is the same story they were going to do, not just for the last 5 years, but folks, this is the story they were going to do for the original Dolph Lundgren sequel. We brought this up the other day, but this is it. This is the exact same kind of story they were going to do. The only difference is I don't think Skeletor is going to be on Earth like he was in that one. But for those who don't know, you can see that movie right now. It's called Captain America. Because all the stuff that was in the story for that got repurposed into Captain America. And I know people are kind of confused because they're like, I thought that got turned into Cyborg. No, all the sets and the costumes got used for Cyborg. But Albert Pyun made both of those films, basically taking one movie and turning it into 2.
Yeah.
And so right now we're getting rehashed, recycled garbage from 1989. Like, that's where we're at here with this stuff.
Well, I think probably it's more likely that they reinvented the wheel rather than go back to that script. I think it's more like,
I know what you're saying, but yeah.
Yeah, but I agree that it's going to look like that. But I think it's more a matter of
The point was,
The
is it's the
Lee
wrong
brothers-
place to start from.
Oh, I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that at all. Again, this is my issue, and I probably was unclear in the video, so I probably need to clarify that. But my issue is that I would have been very happy if Travis Knight had come up with a story completely from scratch, from the get-go. If he had done a page 1 rewrite, then I think probably he would have done something closer to what we all wanted. But he didn't. He started from reworking a script that was already there and had been there for like 3-4 years before he ever came on. Remember, the movie that he came into was ready to shoot at Sony. Then it shifted to Netflix, and it was ready to shoot there, and shifted some more, and then Netflix got cold feet. That's when he came aboard, when it shifted over to Amazon. Then he tailored it alongside some other, a few writers, of course. and that's the movie we are getting right now. But that's just how it is. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it could have been a far worse thing. Should have been so much worse. I have a few of those scripts, and I wish it was different, but the big part of the problem here actually is Amy Pascal, because whenever there was a serious take, when the movie was being developed at Sony, she shut it down and deposited right there when we get to see the face here of Vicor. You get to see the helmet and everything. That's right there, like a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much Conan.
There, perfect. See there, check out the hair, long black hair, and the helmet. That's Conan's helmet. So basically, maybe in the movie, this is Conan, because that would be a really, really fun twist. But the official.
I don't
story
think
behind
Amazon
it-
has the rights to be able to do that, and I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Vicor. Like
That's
the
going
whole-
to probably it's Vicor the Barbarian. Probably that's what they're going to call him.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like that's the
and he'll be
new
Adam's
company
favorite
thing.
hero, and he'll be obsessed with him because that's what the HR bitch was talking about. Is you're obsessed with this stupid crap, and yeah, I can pretty much see the movie in my head.
You've got two choices with this kind of property, is that you add this kind of self-referential humor to keep it away from becoming camp, or you go all in and do something that is the realistic realization of He-Man, which I always thought was funny. And so if you do it 100% seriously, you're going to get an audience of people howling with laughter at the level of seriousness that they're playing the movie. And if that's what you want, that's what you're going to get with a 100% faithful version of that. I don't mind that. I would love to see something that is viewed, that it's not shot camp, but ends up being viewed as camp. I don't
Flash
mind.
Gordon.
You
80
are
movie.
part of the problem right now, Paul, and I'm not trying to dump on you. I'm just saying you are exactly the people I want to avoid to make this fucking movie, because you don't see He-Man for what it really is. You see the gay allegory bullshit. You see it as a humorous
I found it as camp.
camp. It's still the same fucking thing. That's my point, is it falls in the same goddamn category of Batman 66 and people misunderstanding what that show really was too.
But I never.
And I'm not
thought
saying it's your
Batman was
fault. I'm
camp.
Well, I mean, I mentioned the 1980 Flash Gordon movie. It could be that. It could be campy.
That's what I want to avoid. That's my point.
Okay.
That is what everybody thinks this is, that it's not. And that's what I'm trying to
I
get
think
across.
that, but I'm afraid that to Paul's point, that's the only way it's going to work for general audiences.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what we just have to accept, Tom. This is how Hollywood sees it. This is what is going.
And no, and this is a misconception. The original Filmation He-Man series was never camp.
No,
I
of
viewed
course
it
not.
as camp.
People, that's the problem, Paul. And that's what I was getting at. Is like I'm saying,
yeah.
I wasn't trying to like jump on you. I'm just saying, like, you come from that group, that's a distinct group that's just of the wrong age. And same thing with the people that are younger, because they've been too bombarded with all the memes, right? Like, there's only one small like group that understands this franchise, and guess what? And some people are like, oh yeah, let's just make this movie for a small select group. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what you fucking do, because that's the problem we have right now. Everything is too fucking much made for every four quadrant, everybody else. No, make a fucking He-Man movie for the people who actually were He-Man fans. That's what I want. God damn it.
Yeah.
Just for
Unfortunately,
once in my
that's
fucking life.
not
Yeah,
going to
but
happen. Unfortunately,
I think the problem, Tom, is that the genie has escaped from the bottle. People are
Yeah.
going to view it in the way that it has been presented over time and evolved. You know what I mean? You're never going to be able to get back to the very first reaction
Nope.
of its introduction.
correct.
That's
No,
the
because,
problem. That's
you
the
know,
challenge.
No, because I see exactly where Tom is coming from. Because what it wasn't camp. It was the child-friendly version of the Frazetta imagery that was associated with first and foremost Conan, but also all other kinds of fantasy paperbacks that dominated the bookshelves and later Italian movies and stuff like that in the 70s and late 60s, all of the 70s and early 80s. It was the child-friendly version of that, and then later it has been mistaken for camp. Many see it as camp. But Paul, you are of course 100% correct. That genie has left the bottle. So that's not what it was, but that is how it's seen, including by the people who are deciding which direction this is going to take. All of the pundits, all of the media, all of Hollywood, that's how they see it, and that's how they're going to make it. Which means that the only thing that we can hope is that someone like Travis Knight can make the best, most respectful possible movie within that frame. But unfortunately, something that is true to what it originally was, what the Filmation series was, is not going to happen, because most people do not recognize the Filmation series for what it actually was. They see it as camp. And that's how many see it today, but that's because they haven't looked at it. I don't blame anyone for that. That's just how it is. It's an unfortunate happenstance. And the end result.
No, and I get that, and that's why I wasn't like trying to single Paul out or anything, but
No, I don't feel single.
you're of that exact age that my whole post was about. It's like, it's like people actually read my post. It's like, I don't care about your opinion of the opinion of people in that age group about this trailer, because that was what I was noticing. The biggest issue about this yesterday wasn't even so much the trailer itself. It was the fact that there was so many people coming after anybody who had a problem with it. And the excuses that people were throwing at us is like,
Right.
oh, well, it's supposed to be this. It's like, who the fuck are you? And where the fuck do you come from telling me what fucking He-Man was when I was growing up? Right? When I was fucking 4 years old and that fucking Masters of the Universe thing came on the screen, it changed my fucking world. And when I watched that show, I took it as sincere as could be. I don't see any of the fucking camp and humor that everybody else sees it. And I've watched episodes in more recent years. In fact, I shared a couple of select episodes on X that are all out there. You can watch on YouTube, you know, and they're legit. They're legally out there. It's not like it's somebody just bootlegged them or anything like that.
Right.
Where these are episodes that are good representations of, they're everything against what Paul thinks and other people think about this show, because they were written, as I pointed out before, you had people that wrote on Star Trek and that went on to work on things like Batman the Animated Series and stuff like that were working on the show. They took it very fucking seriously, because they knew they were the first ones out of the gate. They knew if this shit didn't work, then we were fucked. The whole reason the 80s is because of this show. People don't get it. Like, this was the first of its kind. There was nothing before that, because Reagan had changed the laws to where they could actually make a TV show based on toys for the first time ever. And He-Man being the biggest toy on the planet, probably because of that show. Right? Like, this is
definitely all because of that
in
show.
synergy, because of everything that happened at that moment in time. And the thing is we could step back and look at exactly what happened and what went wrong. And Andre's breakdown of it is brilliant. If you guys have not seen those series of videos, that's the best breakdown of what went wrong with one of the biggest franchises of all time. And that's what these people are playing with, in my opinion. You're not just playing with my nostalgia. You're playing with my childhood. Right, you know, where people are like, oh, you ruined my childhood. No, this is serious. Like, Andre and I, this is the first thing we bonded over, right? Like, and he understands too, to a point where it's like, this was like, I never saw anything like this. Like, I can't explain how it changed my life. I was a little kid. My dad comes in, he goes, come here, we're going to watch something. He sets me down in front of the TV screen, and I Love Lucy's playing, and I'm sitting here going, I don't want to fucking watch I Love Lucy. Like, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out what the hell my dad's up to. All of a sudden, I Love Lucy ends, and He-Man comes on for the first time. And this is the first time in my life where I had the toy in my hand, and here's the guy on screen talking to me. Little 3-year-old going, what the, whoa! You know, and that's one of my first earliest memories as a child, right? Like, I was on the ground floor of this from the start. So that's what I say, I don't give a shit what other people think about this outside of that age group, because you weren't there. You weren't a part of that. Yeah, you may have been 6, 7, 8 years old. That's great. You know what? By the time He-Man was hitting its peak, you were already a teenager. So I don't care. Like, at that point, like, I just,
Tom,
that's where I'm coming from.
I totally admire your passion here, man. I get it. And this is important to you. I think really just to maybe maybe I haven't made the point as well as I think Paul did. The problem is, and you understand the problem. It's that 4-quadrant audience they're going for. They want it to appeal to you, but they really want a wider audience. Now, they may be able to pull this off and make it to where there's enough here that you say, you know what, I actually had a good time. I wish they hadn't gotten a little jokey here and there, but otherwise I left with a smile on my face.
See, and I
That's
don't
what we can
mind.
hope for.
I don't mind in like humor between characters, right? Like
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
have humorous moment. Like that to me is what Guardians of the Galaxy is, and what people don't see. That's where I think people misunderstand what is quote unquote Marvel humor compared to what is just a comedy, right? Because the thing that worked about Guardians of the Galaxy and what made it humorous wasn't the story, it wasn't the that kind of stuff. It was the character interaction, right? It was their relationships. It
Yeah.
was the character interplay.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the concept that was funny, right?
No.
See, this is the problem. Is these people think the concept is funny. Does that make
That's-
sense?
Yeah.
Like,
Most people
yeah.
probably do.
Yeah, I think most people get what you're saying. What you're saying
Yeah,
there,
I
Tom.
think
And of
you're
course,
right,
You're
yeah.
not. Yeah, you're not. You are right, of course, but still, this is the reality we just have to deal with.
I want to
That's
find it, but I can't find it. But like, I think Giant Freaking Robot recut the Masters of the Universe trailer. They like, here, we fixed it. And all it is literally like him saying, I have the power. And then he comes in, fights Skeletor, and hacks a bunch of guys, and that's the end of the trailer. Like, yeah. It's like, oh, here it is. I found it. Okay. Here, they fixed the trailer. You guys got to see this. This is one good thing Giant Freaking Robot has done.
I like John.
Now, if you just showed that as a teaser trailer, we'd be having a different conversation today.
Yeah.
Minus that he/him crap, right? Because that's the whole thing. Like the moment that shit came on screen, it's like that told me you're not taking this shit very seriously.
Yeah, but
It's going to be impossible for 75% of the general audiences to take it seriously. That's the issue.
If that was the teaser we had gotten yesterday, minus all the Earth crap and all that other stuff,
Yeah.
I'd be
You would
singing
have a
completely
different attitude
tune.
today. We would have Happy Tom.
I still have some issues with designs. Like Andre and I could sit here and nitpick all day long, right, about certain things. Like to me personally, I don't like the design they went with the He-Man.
I
They
can
went with the
hardly
later.
wait for you to start, Tom.
Exactly. Right. There's little things I can nitpick
No, I
at all
get-
day, but I don't give a shit.
I,
At
see,
the end of the day,
I am just not as granularly experienced with this property enough to know. It's like, you know, when people start talking about the Star Trek uniforms, I'm like,
yeah.
I
I am,
don't
but
understand.
I just have to accept that what we wanted, it's not going to happen, and
Yeah.
we just have to move on. We just have to relish. Well, we have 1080p's of the original Filmation series. We're going to get it of the 2002 series. That's in the past. It's not going to be in the future ever again. We have it physically. Now we just have to see what comes next.
And
That begins with this movie. There's nothing else to do
Right.
about it.
and especially with the Giant Freaking Robot trailer, I don't understand. If I was going to cut this trailer and I'm trying to get as many bums in the seat as possible, a highlight is not going to have the mom dragging the kid along saying, I hid you on Earth. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't understand why someone thought that was somehow going to put my bum in a seat. I don't get it. Like, why?
Well,
that's not a
who
teaser.
knows
That's the
what
whole story.
Who knows? Well, and who is saying that is the best way to do it? That is what the
But
marketing
who needs it?
people
No,
who
no
got
one
this
needs that bit of
decided
plot.
to do. Probably would have been better not to be there, but there's plenty. Like for instance, for me, I wish they hadn't included that him scene. I understand why it's there. I don't mind its inclusion in the movie because that's the reality of the corporate world in which He-Man's where Adam worked at the time, so I don't mind that in the slightest for that reason. But for optics, not a good idea to have it in the trailer, even as a joke, because you'll be getting the reaction you're getting right now. So I have like some issues with how they chose to do it. But again, that's a marketing thing.
Well, they don't know how to cut trailers anymore.
Well,
No, they
no, I
don't.
agree. The giant freaking robot trailer was the superior trailer.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not being as attached to the property,
I'm looking
I'm
forward
starting
to
to wonder if maybe Tom is the toxic fandom of He-Man now, right? So it's like, and I'm the guy that's like, okay, Ryan Johnson, Luke drinking titty milk, great. I'm okay with it. Ha ha, isn't that funny? And I love Star Wars, and I felt that they destroyed Star Wars with the sequels, right? And but at this point, and I know a lot of people in the chat are saying it's like, well, this is just standard operating procedure, nothing else new to report. This is the entertainment today.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So all we can do is that it's the best possible movie given the reality restrictions of what it possibly could be, given that it's coming out to Hollywood today, and there's not one single person there who had the vision to recognize what it could be. Actually, that's not true. The people that were developing it, that silver picture, they did understand that. If anything, they took it a little bit too far in some directions. But they did understand it. Unfortunately, they stopped it after the 2011 Conan movie because they figured that what they were doing would be too similar to that. And so it went to Sony, and from Sony, that's when it went into Satyreville, and it stayed forever after there.
Amy
That's
Pascal.
and we all know this. That's how Hollywood works. So it's let go. What was?
There's if this
Or not let
more
go, but
attached.
value. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Andre.
Or not let go, but value what we have.
Yeah. No, and I totally agree. And I've got friends who recommend that 2000 animated series. Saying
Yes,
it's
that's
fantastic.
fantastic. It is fantastic.
I'm more attached maybe to Conan. I like the Conan comics and the old movies. And there was a What If comic. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Marvel's What If comics from back in the 70s, but Conan came. They took an old story where he was in this well of time briefly in the Savage Sword series, one page, and he's seeing all these different things from different parts of time. And so Marvel cleverly inserted him into the modern day. And I thought, when I saw this trailer, I thought, how would I feel if they tried to do that with the Conan movies? Let's say they had made a third Arnold Schwarzenegger Conan movie and they had him, maybe go through into the modern day. It might have been fun. Maybe runs into Eddie Murphy as a police officer or whatever, and there's some jokes. I think I would have been okay with it. But it proves Tom's formula that you can't come out starting out with the jokes unless it's just going full bore camp, like the Flash Gordon movie, I guess. And that's just not something that's going to appeal to super fans like Tom, unfortunately.
I think the best campy Flash Gordon movie was actually Flesh Gordon.
I didn't see that. I saw that on the shelf, but
what's funny is that predates the Flash Gordon movie.
It is actually very funny. And when I saw it, I went, wow, this is actually more true to the original,
to the serial.
Than anything else that they've done. It's a PORN movie, but
that's an adult film.
Softcore, right? but
adult.
It's an adult film, very adult.
It's
but great, great.
Could you imagine somebody, they adapted that and someone was like, this is not how the costumes were.
Well, what's funny about that Flash Gordon movie is how I discovered it.
Jane Arthur.
It was I thought I was taping the Flash Gordon movie, the movie
with the Queen soundtrack.
Yeah, I had no idea this motherfucker existed. It was on Cinemax. I should have known better.
Ooh, Cinemax.
Like, Cinemax is showing Flash Gordon in the middle of the night. Well, I'm going to set my VCR. Boy, did I get a surprise in the morning.
I'm going to take this
pleasant one.
My school report. Here, everyone, watch this VHS.
Well, luckily I was an adult already, Paul, but it was just kind of like, how did I not know this existed? And then I go to find out that it actually predated the De Laurentiis film. So I was like, what the hell?
My friend from Alabama was telling me Flash Gordon's coming on TV. You should go watch Flash Gordon.
So. Yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying out in the chat there.
Let's do that.
Gerald Armstrong. How you doing, Gerald? says with $5, I hope they make He-Man bigger in the film. He doesn't have the look of the most powerful man in the universe. Doesn't look
They
like they're
won't.
doing that.
Oh, they won't.
They won't. What you see there is what you get. That's how it's gonna look.
Which makes absolutely no sense. But hey, that's just me. Pilgrim Media says the standard woke markers are obvious in He-Man. You know, I'm not even sure that there's going to be that much woke in it. It's just and I'm not even that bothered by the he, him pronouns. It was like, if you're going to do it, you might as well just had it he/man just to be on the nose even more. But yeah,
It's going to be Ragnarok
unfortunately.
or Guardians.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's. I think Ragnarok is more likely, but then with the hedge, I liked Ragnarok. So here's just to hoping that it'll be the best movie it possibly can be. I would say though, I'm not a huge fan of how He-Man looks as He-Man. I mean, I've seen cosplays that looks better than that, but hey, that's me.
Yeah, I don't know why they took away his loincloth and gave him like the Roman, whatever you would call that thing, like Skeletor's supposed to have.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then the costume they give him is more of the redesign from like it's kind of a mix between the 2000s redesign and kind of that newer toy. It's like weird. I'm not a fan of it either.
Well, that if anything is under-designed.
This, yeah, for once yeah, I don't know. They missed
He
the
actually
mark on
he
that
actually
one.
looked better. He like ignore Dolph Lundgren's build. I think
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren's He-Man outfit was better.
Well, Dolph Lundgren's He-Man outfit is something you wear into a fucking leather bar. That's the problem. Like you put that on anybody else that was the wrong body, it's going to look exactly like that.
This, yeah, that fair point. Can't argue that.
Like,
And,
if you stop and think about it, like he's literally wearing like leather straps. That's it. Like,
yeah,
I thought that was
Which again
an
was-
homage to Zardoz or something, the old Sean
Yeah.
Connery movie.
no, that was the aesthetic at the time. That's the Frazetta aesthetic. That is part of it. Part of the reason why it's seen as camp today as well, by the way. But
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and the gay,
what it
I
is.
get it, but there was a lot of that in the 80s. Like, I mean, the bodybuilders and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that would be like trying to say that Arnold Schwarzenegger was gay.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, he wasn't, but the bodybuilding community was associated with some level of.
It did
queerness.
have that aspect to it. Don't get me wrong. And look, as far as like He-Man might have one of those first kind of fan communities that probably like adopted him into their gay culture or whatever, kind of like how the shippers did with, certain things. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, look at what he's wearing. You would never get away with that today.
That's Beastmaster.
Pretty much. Like, if it wasn't for those shoulder things, like just imagine that he would look like he was walking into a gay bar. Like that's what he would look like.
I will say that
I get that.
I will say that Beastmaster was the worst acting job of Rip Torn's career.
The nose is worse
I'm gonna
than
have to think
him.
about
I mean,
that.
Yeah, you were waiting for the nose to fall off.
yeah, that fucking nose. Like, yeah, you're not wrong. You're like going, like, is it gonna fall? Paul's not wrong.
And the thing is, he's holding the axe over top of the girl, and Beastmaster is fighting up the stairs, and you're going, he could have cut off her head like way earlier.
Yeah,
that I love that movie. That to me
me too.
is so much
See,
fun.
that's an unintentionally camp, right? Like that
Yeah.
wasn't meant.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
There's
I mean,
an
kinda like
honesty to it. I don't know if you can make that kind of canon, style movie now with just a bunch of people who wanted to make money, and that was, it's just such a different time. You can't be cynical about movies made by cynical people, just to have fun. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't have some lightheartedness to it. Clearly, the original Filmation series did, but there's a difference between the sincerity in it. That's what I guess the word is I was looking for. Dark King says the major problem for pop culture since 2016 has been the creative staff have hated the core franchise. What do we know about the crew for He-Man? Well, not a lot. Andre was saying, Travis Knight is kind of the only saving grace, because I believe one of the main writers, isn't it it's some chick who wrote a bunch of garbage, I think, and some other, I keep trying to remember who
Yeah,
else
well,
was
the
credited.
problem is you can't really go with the writers here because this particular thing, you have to remember the writers here, they haven't been sitting together and working. They've gotten a draft that someone else worked on. They did a polish, was passed on to someone else many, many times over. So what ultimately matters on this one, I think, is what's being shot in the filmmaker. That's what
This
you have
might
to
even
focus
still be
on.
the Goyer script, from all we know. It might even be worked from that.
I don't
know if he's
Maybe.
credited or not.
I don't
I'd
think
have to
so.
look.
I don't think so. I think that Goyer did something else. I don't know. I think the Nee brothers, they started their own take because Goyer
Did they
came
restart
in
it?
earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it restarted with the Nee brother. I think it restarted with the Nee brothers, and everything is here now goes back to there. And of course, I'm sure the Nee brothers, they would have had access to some things. Who knows what they borrowed or didn't borrow from past.
No,
Past
you're
things
right.
before that.
We got the Nee brothers, Michael Finch and David Callahan, and Chris Butler.
Yeah, that sounds like them, Sony, Netflix, and Amazon. And none of them worked together on it other than the Nee brothers.
Okay, so it's based on a story from the guy who came up with shit for Predators, and John Wick 4, and Hitman, Agent 47. So there's your starting point.
There's the origin. That's the starting point.
And the other guy that worked with him on Story By was also who worked on Predators, so his writing partner,
Travis Knight has a pretty thin resume, but I think he's attached to that $6 Million Man remake with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And the guy who rewrote it, guess this, he hasn't done shit. He worked as an animator.
Oh no.
Okay, hang on. I got his writing credits here. Hang on. Oh, fuck! I hate how they changed IMDb.
But then again, it's a matter of, but which draft did he do, and how much is left of that now?
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, there's like 3 or 4 writers on this thing.
The shit he's worked on is like Paranorman and Kubo and the Two Strings.
Kubo, so basically, if he did Kubo and the Two Strings, then he's someone that was brought in by Travis Knight. Then he's Travis Knight's guy. Then
he's the last one.
Travis Knight. Right, there you go. He is the one that Travis Knight brought in to basically say, I want to do this, 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 and this, make it so. Make it work within what's already there. Fix it.
Yeah.
That would be the final fixer.
Yep. Yeah, the Nee brothers being in the middle of it all,
Yeah. So
that's what it looks like.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. That's what we have to work with. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but the movie that He-Man probably deserved to be ain't happening. It was never happening. We can hope that AI will be so good that we can make it ourselves. But until then, this is the movie we have, and we can just hope that Travis Knight has been able to pull a miracle out of his hat and salvage what was already there. That's the best hope that we have. I've heard some more things after we did that video, which seem pretty promising. Of course, it's never going to be the movie that we wanted, but it can be something that's good in its own right. But we do have to separate from what was before, because that's just not happening again. That's part of our past. We have it in the shelf. That's where it's going to stay.
It's funny that you had that toy, because I could have just grabbed my figures that are up here, but
exactly.
This comes out. It's a pretty crowded
June
month
5th.
too. In June, I think you've got that Spielberg movie. You've got Supergirl. You've got Toy Story 5. You've got.
I think this movie is going to open, but whether or not it has legs at all is going to depend on if it's any fucking good. Because look, the reason why Netflix got so hardcore into it is because, make no mistake about it, that first season or first half of Revelation or whatever the fuck it was called, the Kevin Smith show, it got good ratings, which showed Netflix there is,
It was a massive hit.
base.
It trended like hell. I mean, that trailer, everything,
Well-
the audience was there,
Yeah.
but they were lost again. They were lost by the end of the
Mhm.
first half of season.
There's a
1.
reason why they keep releasing He-Man figures. Like, I got to a point where I had to stop collecting. Like, I even made the joke that, like, I could have just collected one figure, like He-Man, just picked one character, and I'd still have a room full of toys. Because that's how much, like, compared to even when I was a kid, like, it's just gotten endless. Like, I got this big-ass He-Man, too, for as far as I go. Like, I mean, look, it's a big enough franchise, but I feel like the Kevin Smith show really, really hurt it, because I think that's what happened was Netflix
It
saw the
did,
ratings for
totally.
that tank, and then they put the movie in turnaround after they had already sunk $30 million into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you think about it too. I mean, like if somebody did an autopsy on that, nobody is going
Oh, I think we're
to
working on it.
accept the real blame, right? It's like that news about the folks over at Dabney over at Warner Brothers still thinking that Joker 2 was a good movie and not understanding what went wrong. It's like, it's very easy to tell what went wrong, and it's the same problem with Kevin Smith. It's insulting the audience and insulting the people who are fans of this material by trying to insert your stuff in it.
I agree with your point, but Joker 2 is one of those few times where you can make an argument for this is why you need corporate oversight.
Yeah.
This is why you can't always let the creatives just run wild, because
Well,
this
and
is what you're going to have.
That's exactly right. Well, and again, I don't. You've said it. I've said it. I don't blame them. The first one made $1 billion. So and Phillips didn't want to come back. So if Phillips comes back and says, "I'll only come back if I can have final cut," I mean, you sign that deal, paper it.
Well, this was a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Any other producer in Hollywood would have made the same deal. It would have turned out the same way. Don't get me wrong, but
Exactly.
it's just one of those situations where you have it as a good example of why sometimes you need some corporate oversight to go, okay, you're getting a little too artsy fartsy or too weird for the audience here. Because then now we're starting to hear that even Zaslav didn't like the movie when he first saw it and he wasn't sure.
Yeah,
Right,
maybe we take
so-
out the prison rape of Joker in this or something. Maybe that
Well,
would be an idea.
I mean, to me, it's like well, I mean, we already know what the problem with the movie was, is Todd Phillips was pissed that the wrong audience liked his movie, right? So he had to turn around and make a shitty movie to undo
well, and
all
of
that
course it was a
stuff.
musical too. So
Yeah, well,
jukebox
the
movie.
musical is the worst it was the
Yeah.
least of its problems. The second half of the film is the problem. It's pretty obvious that it should have just been about, this guy taking the court as hostage and trying to, go to that next level. Instead, it became this stupid fucking thing where I'm not really the Joker. Somebody please
we
rape
didn't need
me.
a sequel. Let's just leave it there.
No,
Well, I
it's
mean,
dumb.
the silly thing with Joker, which I thought was the initial trailer was going to was showing, was directing, and I thought it would have been wonderful, is that these two very ill people escape from jail and then go on a killing spree. There's a movie.
Yeah.
It would have been like joyous that these
Natural born killers, basically.
yes, that's exactly right. It should have been the comic book version, the Joker version of Natural Born Killers, because one of the things that the initial trailer showed was a deep level of, albeit sick, affection between two characters, which ironically comic books have been very bad at showing, as in a real affection. Now, the fact that it was twisted is what would have made it fun. If he had just done Natural Born Killers
I
with
agree.
those two characters, it would have been a huge hit.
Yeah,
Why
something like that? It would have been
he
fine.
wanted to punish the audience. I don't get it.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying, is the wrong audience liked the first Joker, so for some reason they decided to go this weird artsy fartsy stupid
Imagine a
fucking route.
musical version of Bonnie and Natural Born Killers. That would
Either that, or like I said, if you insisted on keeping it most in the courtroom, well, that's at the point where you have the Joker actually take the court hostage and put Gotham on trial.
There you go.
Like, that makes more sense in where he was going with his whole initial point, right? Like, he was created by society, so now he's putting society on trial. Like, and the only way he could do that is by literally taking the court hostage. Like, we all know the outcome of this, right? Like, it's obvious, but that would have been an entertaining movie. Or like what Paul said, The obvious choice would have been to go with a Natural Born Killers type movie, since your
Indeed.
first movie was Taxi Driver. But anyway, that being said,
Let's move on
Snellworld,
with the super chat.
yeah, Snellworld says He-Man's costume comes from an older Mondo figure. Yeah, I was gonna say it was one of the redesigns. I know that because I've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was
and
trying
the
to
other
remember which
problem is
line.
that we're living in a cynical world compared to back in the day.
Yeah.
We just can't help.
Yeah.
Mhm. And then DS Ford has been here for 50 freaking months. That's a long time.
4
Dark King
years.
says Tom is right on the age group. I'm 44, and He-Man was yesterday's news for my age group. For me, it was all Transformers and Thundercats. TMNT was later. Exactly. Like He-Man hit its peak, and then it fell off a cliff in 1986. And the reason? Tits. We let girls in the clubhouse, and that's what fucking happened. No. Nicholas Horton's.
He didn't do it. Mattel did, but
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Nicholas
Well, and then
Horton's.
those little boys went through puberty too, so I wasn't sure if that
Yes.
was the joke.
There was half of that. There's women. It's both sides of it. Certain age groups aged out of it and started getting into women. And the other age group was pissed because their sisters wanted to play with their He-Man toys now. They're like, well, why would I want to play with that when my sister wants to play with it because she's got She-Ra toys that she can comb her hair. Ooh. Nicholas Horton says, Hail Midnight's Edge. I agree with what Andre said on Wednesday's show. Use the 3-part pilot of 2002 Motu show as a starting point for film adaptation. It makes sense. Not only that, Amazon is kind of screwing themselves. They could have had like a whole synergistic thing going on here. You could have had the movies based on basically that concept. And with that concept, then you could spin off a prequel series called like, Eternia or something like that, where it's basically about young Randor and Keldor. Right? You could have had all kinds of stuff.
Right there. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, come on.
That's a one season miniseries right there.
Yeah. That sets up the movie. So then you don't have to tell all that backstory in the movie. You just refer to it. And then if you want to go check it out, you can. But yeah. Anyway,
that's what should have happened. But yeah.
Hyperguyver says, now, Tom, the big question, should I go to a Motu dressed as a Ghostbuster to keep that rivalry alive? Was there really a rivalry? That is the funny thing about that He-Man scene in Ghostbusters. I'm going, if they really wanted to be poignant about this, it should have been, where was the Ninja Turtles? Because the Ninja Turtles were eating everybody's fucking lunch in 1989. So I don't know. Yeah, the He-Man joke was a little dead by then. That's all I remember when I saw that joke in, and as a major He-Man fan, I'm like, thinking no kids are into He-Man anymore. That's my first thought when I heard that.
When it was still written, remember that it would have been written 2-3 years before you saw
Absolutely.
it on screen.
But I think it would have been more poignant had it been Ninja Turtles, because at that point you went from the Ghostbusters being one of the biggest toy franchises to Ninja Turtles just coming in and just destroying everything.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then we got Dark Hero Fan who says He-Man's origin reminds me of Neo from the Matrix. Yeah, there's Superman origin. It's not He-Man's origin. Really. Jay Price says, been a member for 26 months. Thank you for that. And then Callum Lyle sends in 5 to say, as long as it destroys that bait and switch crap from Netflix, I'll be happy. But this retro music in the trailers is getting old. Well, at least it wasn't a pop hit.
Trailer music, I have to say, tremendously boring music.
At least I will give the trailer this. At least it wasn't a pop song from the 80s slowed down.
Yeah, or 70s, like
or 70s or something like that.
Yeah.
I would have preferred that to the synth we got.
Oh God, Andre, don't tempt them. It would have been some shit like It's Raining Men. Hallelujah. Mikey's in the house. Hey, Mikey. Sends in $10 and says, breaking. On Chadow's next trip to Hilton Head, I will personally chain Shadow to the sofa and watch every single episode while his eyelids are duct taped open. I want to come back to Hilton Head. I miss it.
Bring some Visine at least, okay?
I want to get out of this negative 19-degree weather. Mike, save me from this shit. Oh my God. Paul, you're muted.
Paul, you might be muted.
You're muted unless you're talking to the missus.
I'm just going to say, I don't want Mikey to be giving any Hilton Head.
Oh. Callum
Someone will pay
Lyles.
for it.
Callum Lyle says it wouldn't surprise me if Batman woman writer did tricks for James Gunn or his Who wife to get a job. Okay, so what is this
We should
referring
mention
to?
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
was
is the final
The other
story
news that
of the
dropped
day.
yesterday, yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of got buried
Which
in
we
the
actually
He-Man
did
news.
speak about on Wednesday, but then it was a rumor. Now it's confirmed by the trades that Christina Hodson will be writing the James Gunn Batman movie. So not the Batman Bat movie, but the proper James Gunn Batman movie. And Christina Hodson will be the one writing it, and many people will be freaking out because she also wrote Birds of Prey. Plus, she also worked on The Flash. Of course, that was a group effort that took like 20-something writers for that to fail. But she was one of them, and she worked on it. And
Well, there's a
what
connection
many
to our
people-
earlier story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and I'm sure this is what you're about to say. There's a connection to our story we were just talking about here, too. She does have one glowing thing on her resume. Go ahead, Andre.
She does. She does have one really glowing thing, which is why I am not freaking out. You have to remember, Birds of Prey, writing that as a feminist flagfest, that was the job description. That's what she was supposed to do. The Flash, that was a cook of many, many different chefs. Well, that was a mess, basically. And it was a bunch of writers, and not a single one writer can be blamed for that. But she wrote Bumblebee for Travis Knight. That was her. She knocked that out of the park. Which is why I'm not going to be depressed just yet. If she pulls a Birds of Prey here or brings her the Flash A game, of course, then it's a different story. But I'm not going to freak out at this. because we
Well, so
can't get
you've
to the
got
point.
you've got Christina Hodson writing.
Which
Yeah.
is weird because she wrote Batgirl as well. I'm gonna be curious how some of the people are gonna.
Yep. Andy Muschietti directing.
So you got the writer and the director of the Flash. Keep that in mind.
Yep. Now
I'm more
and
worried about that.
And I am
Yeah.
sharing in the background here. If you can just show it briefly, this may explain everything. 2 years ago.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but here's also another thing. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but we're supposed to be getting a new Flash already. And
I've heard he was going to show
Yeah.
up. What I'm saying is either James Gunn was lying when he called The Flash one of the greatest superhero movies ever, or he
I'll
was
go with
playing corporate, back patting, or he believed it.
both. The
Or he
latter,
believed it.
not so much. I think it's the first two, but yeah.
Well, if you believe it, what do? You hire that director and that writer to do your Batman movie. I just don't think he likes Batman. That's what I think.
Well, we did have Script Doctor for half a second.
Oh,
Oh, there he's back. Here we go. Here he is. Script Doctor.
hey, yo. Maybe he's there. Maybe he isn't.
Yeah. We have Schrödinger's script doctor, evidently.
He probably thought, I've got time to get coffee. They're not going to bring me in. Chris is
Yeah,
filibustering.
Or could be working on the connection. Either way, to your point, yeah. I mean, it's certainly not great. I mean, there are some really, really bad optics here.
He's having audio
just-
issues.
Test.
Yeah,
We hear you.
There we
Go
go.
ahead.
Test-
Now you hear
test
me?
it.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
Yes.
Yeah. How's it going? I just came back. I'm on my break from work. What's going on?
Oh, awesome! Glad you could join in and weigh in on this woman here writing Batman.
Well, I mean, her script's not greenlit, so I have no worries right now.
No,
have
but
to remember,
assuming
scripts-
it might be.
Well, no, you have to remember, DC has a strict checklist of what needs to happen before a script gets greenlit. So she's just got the assignment. Also, Andy Muschietti's not directing.
What?
Yeah, that would shock me.
It says right there that he's still involved as director.
Yeah, that's just padding right now. They're not happy with him with the Flash. I mean, he's working on the Welcome to Derry stuff. He's got all these other things all lined up with other studios. He's going to be told that due to scheduling conflicts, he will not be available to direct. So we're going with a new person. It's a very polite way of telling him that he was never going to get this deal because the Flash really did get. I mean, it was a huge nightmare of a production. 10 years to make, almost.
Yeah.
Reshot many times, not complete, almost to a point where it was a full reshoot of the entire film. But
Well, now that's not Andy's fault, right? There were 3 other directors.
there were
before
3
him.
other directors. He kept on. He came in, but the thing is, like, they had a full. They reshot maybe 70% of the movie under Andy. And that was like that was the largest reshoot of the Flash, because everything else was just small pickups and redones here and there. So like normal stuff, but it was done over years, like years.
Well, the Flash was reshot so many times. I think they're still reshooting it right now.
Well, it's a hyperbole, but yeah, like essentially, yes, like it had one official full, shot 1 to the end shot reshoot in total. Like they almost remade that movie twice over the course of like the near decade-long production.
Which is
If
why they were
anything-
debating. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, if anything, I'm surprised that Buschetti hasn't been officially replaced already, that they still keep this charade that he's going to direct, which I never believed for 1 second he would be. I'm just annoyed with, like, why can't you just stop pretending? You don't have to give us a new
Because
director.
it was successful. That's why. Like it's simple. Like he did a great thing with it. People liked it. Audiences liked those 2 parts of it. The Welcome to Derry series that he's a part of is also trending quite well. They're just doing it to, say, well, if Warner Brothers publicly says he's not going to do it because we were disappointed with him in The Flash, yet he's got these 2 hits plus a streaming series hit on the docket, it's like we're going to look like morons. So we're just going to do what we are going to do. We've found a writer who's going to write the next Batman thing, and if it hits what they need it to do, it will get put into greenlight. Remember, there's other writers that wrote Authority. There's another writer that wrote. There's another writer that wrote like a Titans thing. Both of those have been canned because the scripts weren't in the right position for it. So, I mean, that's the best thing you can hope for with DC Studios, is that if the script's not in a position that they're ready to pull the trigger on, it gets reworked. And if the writer can't deliver, the writer is let go and the new writer comes in. They've already done that so far. So we'll see what happens. I mean, even with the Waller series, that thing's not even completed yet. That might not even be happening anymore.
Well, we all know who's actually going to direct the Batman movie. Zack Snyder. No, honestly, you want to know what my prediction is? James Gunn's going to end up directing it
Yeah,
himself.
me too.
Likely, he'll probably do the Trinity.
I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paulie's here as well at the last
Wow.
part of the show. But how you doing, Paulie?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
We're doing all right. We're just talking about this Christina Hodson story, and we're
Yeah.
super chats. And I was reminded here she also
I
was
wanted-
one of the writers on that Pirates of the Caribbean female reboot that never got off the ground too.
That's right.
I wanted to add to what Script was saying, and then ask Script a couple of things. I think you're on point, because the production is not set till 27, and they're already saying in his paperwork based upon his availability. Now,
Yeah.
Script, we know what that means.
Mhm.
He also has a multi-year deal with Warner Brothers. So, you guys seen him parading around recently on some of the red carpets, as far as Superman,
Mhm.
blah, 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 blah. That's because he's a company man. He's a good company man. And stop me if I'm wrong, Script. They know he died on his shield for the Flash, but they also know how talented he is with horror.
Yeah.
Not per se superheroes. So I just wanted to add that in there, Script. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
No, like that thing is, again, the success with the It series and the Welcome to Derry stuff is kind of in his wheelhouse. The question I have is, are they going to try and go a horror route with Batman? Because
Well, I can see you wanting to use a darker director, but I see where you got.
we've
you're
done
coming
that
from
already.
it.
We've had
Yeah,
nothing
but
dark
again,
Batman film since '89. I want
I
something.
know, but to
different.
finish my point, I can also see where they're going to turn around and say, "Oh, well, this It thing is taking off," and I guarantee you they're going to fucking announce an It Part 3. You fucking mark my words. They're
Oh, no,
they're
it's,
going to do it.
That's already been announced. He's doing a supercut. It's coming out.
No.
like a full
An
third.
actual third
Well,
film.
there's so much material in the It book.
Exactly my
There's
point.
So much material.
Garen
See,
fucking teed.
Tom's
It's going to
correct.
happen. So what they're going to turn around and do is say, and Andy's going to come out kind of like with Ryan Johnson, where he's like, "Well, I got so busy with Knives Out that Star Wars became secondary to me." it's going to turn out to be the same kind of thing. Anyway, go ahead, Paulie.
Let me just add to what Chris said earlier when he brought up the greatest superhero movie ever. I'd imagine a couple years ago, guys, that Crazy Zaz, sat Muschietti down, maybe even Christina down. It's like, this is how it's going to work. This is a piece of crap, but we're going to go out saying this is great. We're going to support it. And this is what we're going to give you in the next couple of years, because you did Bumblebee, you're doing it, but we got to get through this this trash. Because even Muschietti said in a Spanish interview, the troubles of Ezra Miller, screwed everything up.
Yeah,
he'd never said that in an English interview.
Well, the other question I'd pose, and I pose this to Chris, what would you do if one of your writers at Bleeding Fool said, hey, this article that I worked on is a piece of crap publicly, and you shouldn't watch it? What would you do to them?
Now, to be fair, wasn't this before Gunn had inked his deal with Warner Brothers?
No,
Well, the movie was already said and done before he inked his deal, but once he inked his deal, they still had a year's
it was a year of him
year's
building
worth
up
of
the studio.
movies. Yeah.
Well,
to get through, and that's where
I don't know
Batgirl
what
got
was
shit
something
canned,
was in the water. I think something was in the water. Look at this other one I've got shared.
No,
Tom.
you're missing the point. The point is, when you work for a company, it is not in your best interest to trash that company.
Oh yeah,
No, I
I
get
remember
it.
talking about this at the time.
But
Chris,
why
and I
say
know where
anything?
you're coming from. But yeah,
Because
see,
it's
they were
not-
running a campaign because they knew this movie was trash. And not only
This was
that,
a campaign.
I've been told time and time again that this was the most expensive movie that Warner Brothers ever made, because they had to reshoot it so many times.
Nick Cage wouldn't take the payola, so they couldn't get him to come out and say it was great.
Well, he only got paid what little he did so they could use his
He got
likeness.
paid a
'cause-
likeness, and
yeah, that's why he was
did
pissed.
say that it was not what he hoped to have done with his version of Superman. Tom Cruise, this one here, this is part of his trade-off to get IMAX screens.
Yep.
And not only that, he was also him and Zach. This is when he moved his offices. This was all coordinated. Don't get me wrong.
It's all
And that was-
coordinated. Tom's absolutely right.
And that was what I was hearing is like the whole reason that they were later. Because remember when the whole thing with Ezra Miller? Remember we were talking about they were debating on completely removing him from the movie, but the bigger problem was that he played too many characters. Because replacing him wasn't the problem. And everybody was like, oh, that would cost. No, it wouldn't cost shit. Because all you got to do, because 90% of the movie's shot on green screen. This is what I was told. All they'd have to go in and do is just replace his character. The problem they have is that they already reshot it once. So that means that they'd be going back again for a third fucking time, making it that much more expensive. So they were pretty much looking at it. What do? Do we just cut and run now that we've spent $500 million on this fucking movie? Because that was basically where the money range was in. It was over $500 million by that point. Because the initial budget was like what, 250, something like that, and then we ran into so many overruns that it was like
gave them, and then
the number I heard was like 5 or 530 was what it ended up costing, somewhere in that
We
range.
need a 70 or 80-minute documentary where people go on the record and talk about this production.
Well,
Oh,
never
this is a
happened.
book in the making.
It's never going to
eventually.
happen.
Yeah, or a TV series or
Everyone's
something.
paid off.
It's
Script.
still really difficult just to find all the chaos that was going with the original Superman 5, later Superman Returns production. Like that was nuts.
Right.
That was a decade plus, and then everything was thrown out for Superman Returns, and they rolled that expense into the movie.
So yeah, they had to do anything they could to try and boast this movie's image just to try and gain some money back at the box office. The beauty for Zaslav is it all predated him. So that was the thing, is that the failure of it didn't reflect on him personally within the company per se, although everybody was using and has been using everything they can against him and everybody else in Warner Brothers at this point. But look, as far as this Batman thing with Christina Hodson goes, I'm not going to hold my breath, but I'm like you guys. I'm not convinced Muschietti is going to be the director on this thing. And the fact that we have a new writer coming on, and Script will tell you this, is a good signal that he's already gone.
I just wonder why this is news at all. You know,
Well,
it's like,
it's the joking part of news because, again, she's assigned the script. The script is not confirmed or greenlit. There's no production for it yet. So basically, this In Snyder guy who, he gets a ton of rumors, decided to put it out there. I don't know if this is 100% legit or if this is Christina Hodgson's people with CAA.
Of course it is.
Yeah, throwing this in there just to get it
That's
pushed a
what
little bit more of the negotiations on
Probably.
Warner Brothers.
That's-
But you know what this tells
That's
me,
what-
though, is that they're not as far along with the Batman as everybody thinks. And this is why the Batman Part 2 is happening.
This is Hodson's very well paid PR, Chris, if you're asking. Because
We're not getting
what they'll be. Chris's people say to Warner's, okay, what can we say? Cool, we're gonna embellish the rest. Here you go.
this
And
movie's not happening till 2028 at least. That's
yeah,
my
it's not
point.
shooting till next year. Yeah,
That's my point. Yeah.
yeah. But
If this is true, like I get where you guys are coming from. I think it's happening. It's just, it's got to be more. We're going to hear about Muschietti being gone here in the next month or two, I bet.
Oh, I would
Well-
say closer towards the end of the year, but this part here, like
Maybe,
the
yeah.
stuff that I've learned so far about what's going on in DC Studios is that the writers turn in the script, they get a round of notes, the writer has to deliver on those notes, then they get another round of notes, and if they go past, I think 4, and the script's not in the right shape, they're out, and a new person comes in.
yeah, they need fresh eyes.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Script, because when having said all of this, right, and then let's get and how Hollywood works. This is as far as the Midnighters in the chat. This is great insight. This could all change because of Deary's massive success, and
Mhm.
maybe he's going to win awards. All of a sudden, he's the darling it boy again, Script, and maybe they are going to go full steam with him. What are your thoughts?
Again, it's the principal form of currency in Hollywood is reputation, right? Like if he gets put up on that pedestal again, Warner Brothers would find themselves in a pretty sweet spot where they're like, well, okay, if we want to get more excitement geared behind Batman Brave and the Bold, then we'll just say, okay, Andy, let's make this scheduling thing work so that you can do this film so we can ride that wave of reputation. But I mean, that's still a big if, because part of me thinks that Gunn is going to probably end up being the director of the Trinity to establish his whole thing, because he is still at least a year out from figuring out Wonder Woman. Because I think his Paradise Lost Themyscira series that he was working on, I think that's got a pin in it right now because they haven't got the completed scripts yet. And yeah, I mean, it all comes down to like who's going to be the next hot director. I know that there's a lot of push behind Michael Flanagan's Clayface at the moment right now, because they're really happy with that script and that production. And I've seen a couple still which look okay, but again, I enjoy some of Michael Flanagan's stuff, but he's mostly done stuff for Netflix, and it looks like Netflix. And I'm worried that Clayface is going to look like a Netflix.
That's the thing I've been hearing more about Clayface is that, and that it goes along with what I've been trying to tell people, is I don't believe all this bullshit about the astronomical amount they were saying that Superman cost, because the reason they're getting behind Clayface is the sucker only costs $40 million. It doesn't have to make jack shit to clear it. So this movie's going to make them some bank.
Well, not only that, Superman, Lanterns, and Peacemaker Season 2 were all shot at the same time. So a lot of that money that they're saying was for Superman was for DCU Productions, and they're trying to leverage that all on Superman, but it's parsed out across 2 other streaming series, because Lanterns started as they were wrapping up Superman. They were starting with Lanterns because Nathan Fillion still had all of his hair, makeup, and all of his gear on site because he's in that show. So they shot all of his stuff first, and then production was wrapped on Superman, and they just continued on with Lanterns while they were wrapping up Peacemaker Season 2.
I wonder if they're going to...
It's an alarmingly efficient way to do that, because they were able to actually double use all of their production stuff without having to increase the cost. But the overall cost for all 3 was combined together, I guess, for the tax benefits.
I can see that if that's what they really did. And I'm still curious if they're going to tease Batman in the Brave and the Bold, or I mean, in the Clayface movie before Brave and Bold. So
yeah, I
we'll
mean,
have
it's
to
got
see.
that other really big obstacle that only the Joker one was able to pull off, which is how do you do a villain movie without a hero to stop them?
Well, not just that, it's based on a Batman the Animated Series episode. So I have a feeling Batman's going to have some thing to do with it.
Well, yeah, they're inspired by the revision of, like, they used the Matt Hagen version of Clayface, which he's like Clayface 2. And then they also pulled in another Clayface who was an actor. Like, yeah, they just copied the one from Feet of Clay. But that also gives me concern, because I already seen Feet of Clay, and majority of Batman fans have. Why would you give us the same story again? And then force us to compare it, just like when you have, like, very popular book adaptations done on film. You're like, well, what's better, the book or the movie? And most people say the book. So why would you do that to yourselves?
Well, we'll have to see how this turns out. We've got some super chats to get to, though. We've got Billy D. Shilliams. How you doing, Billy D. Shilliams? With $5 says, I'm in the correct age, and I don't want the cartoon. I want the insert comics from the toys. Those were more serious and dark. Well, then you already got that. That was basically the Dolph Lundgren movie in the end. But yeah, I see what you're saying, and you could go that route too, but yeah, like I said, that's pretty much what the Dolph Lundgren movie is. Mikey says another 10 to say, on a serious note, as a latchkey kid with no dad, He-Man gave me a male heroic figure with great stories and good lessons at the end of every episode. Yes, they were the first to do that too. He-Man made me a better kid than adolescent and man. But you're not gay in the least, and I can tell that for a fact. So I tried to hit on him several times. No, I'm kidding. So this whole idea that He-Man is gay is so dumb. Pack and Proton says, rest in peace, Uncle Floyd from New Jersey. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear about that. And then Kid Piz says, Hollywood hasn't cared about 4 quadrants and ages. No, that's all they care about. That's all they give a shit about right now, Kid Piz, unfortunately. Because they used to make shit for select audiences, and then it would sometimes creep into other quadrants. But
now it's 4 quadrants in every market.
Yep. And if it doesn't hit those, then they don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Then Big
We
Gator
can't sell
says
this in China or Russia, then we don't want it.
exactly. Yeah. You mean 12-year-olds don't want to watch this and 50-year-olds? Well, then what the fuck? Beastmaster 2 Through the Portal of Time, discuss. Big Gator, the problem with this movie is it's not available on not just Blu-ray, but it's not even available on DVD. And I like Beastmaster 2 unapologetically. I don't give a shit.
I haven't seen it since it went on Swedish TV, so it's impossible.
For some reason, I don't know if it's a rights issue or what. This movie is just like buried.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they lost the negative for the first film. That I know. But what the fuck happened to Beastmaster 2? Where the hell is it? It was on Cinemax constantly back in the day. Professor Haitian says He-Man would have been funny, but it could have saved it. That's what I was trying to say. It's like, if you're going to do it, just do it on the nose, man.
And Chris, unfortunately, had to leave.
He did, yes. So thank you for being here, Chris, and check out Bleeding Fool, where you can find Chris's work. And then Packet Proton says, didn't they add more scenes for Skeletor because Langella was having so much fun? Yes. In fact, I think he has the most lines in the entire movie, doesn't he?
Well, he does. And it wasn't that they added scenes. They didn't write new scenes, as far as I know.
They just didn't cut him out.
But they let him ramble on and on and on and on. It's like the script said one line for him, and he was able to ad-lib that into like 2 minutes. So yeah, that's what happened.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Packet Proton says Eternia looks overdesigned. Yes, almost everything in this movie looks overdesigned. That's one of my issues. And then Packet Proton says He-Man was first, franchise Turtles was my last. Exactly. You're in the same age group as me. That's exactly where I'm at. Yeah.
Oh, I'm kind of late to it. I didn't hear your reactions. Did you guys like the trailer?
Not really.
I liked it.
I thought it was fine. I think sadly the he/him joke is too dated.
Dated. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it would be very, very funny if we thought like, pronouns is going to be existing in like 40 years from now, but they're not. So it's like immediately dated.
And then Miller wants to know our thoughts on episode 1 and 2 of Merlin. Oh, I haven't got my copies yet, Andre.
Yeah, well, we will.
You forgot to send them to me.
Yeah, we will be sure to review those very soon here, but we haven't gotten to that just yet. We've seen the trailers. We're going to see more of the series, but haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, he forgot.
We'll get back to some reviews in the next few days here.
It looks cool though. And then Jason Webster says where Hollywood is now creatively bankrupt, producing mediocre to bad films and handling out awards to crap, though. Now irrelevant award ceremonies they made irrelevant. That's it, kids. Yeah, and not only that, everybody's noticing that Sinners got like the most award nominations, and I kind of predicted that would happen. But I think Paulie's right that the DiCaprio movie will end up winning Best Picture. They'll give Coogler Best Director, but I stand by I agree. Like all these Best Picture nominees, they don't hold a fucking candle to the shit from back in the day. These are not, as far as I'm concerned, great movies. Even Sinners is okay at best. I'm sorry. If you enjoyed it, that's cool. But it's just a bunch of rehashed garbage, and it's overly long and overly pretentious.
Yeah, it could
The
be
only
cut.
movie,
Yeah.
the only movie that deserves to be in that list, as far as I'm concerned, is F1. And F1 would have never been nominated ever before. I don't even know how it got nominated. Is beyond me. But
Well, they needed to hit 10.
yeah, basically, they like, oh, we have one on here that people like.
It got 4 nominations. F1.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of surprised. That was my point.
The main criteria should
Mhm.
be: would you buy it on DVD if DVD still existed? That needs to be the only criteria. And the only movie on that list is F1.
Well, I can tell you that F1. Gosh, the producer's name is blanking. They did a slew of membership screening script here in town.
Oh, cool.
Q&A with Kaczynski and Bruckheimer.
Oh,
Jerry
yeah, that's right.
Bruckheimer.
Yes.
Detroit's own Jerry Bruckheimer. I mean, I got to meet them. It was incredible. And the audiences of these a lot of the Q&As, man, they were just blown away because, it was like the best IMAX and the sound and all that. So I'm sure, Script, that those screenings really helped them get those 4 nominations, even though they probably deserved more.
Probably. They probably won't get shit outside of like sound. And
I hope they
whatever.
get sound at least.
That's all they'll probably get.
Even though it's,
no.
to me, it's the best film of the year. That and Frankenstein.
On that list, I agree with you. I haven't seen Frankenstein yet, but yeah.
Sinners was great until the ending. Me and Romy did not like the ending, but that's just us.
The very end is the only part I actually kind of liked. Otherwise, the movie is just basically a racially driven From Dusk Till Dawn, in my opinion. That's all it was.
Oh,
A
just
shit ton of
way
stereotypes
more
followed on it.
original. Way
Yes, exactly. That's my point. We've already seen this, done that. It's
Well, I mean,
just,
From
yeah.
Dusk Till Dawn is like also a twist on Assault on Precinct 13.
Yeah.
Well, they threw in so much in Dusk Till Dawn, and well, that's a great. We could do a great breakdown of
And
that.
I'm not saying people can't like Sinners, because I've been getting a lot of shit for saying it. But
I
it's
saw
just like,
that. Yeah,
it's just the point is like, this is not the kind of movie that would have won Best Picture, even been nominated 15, 20 years ago. And it has nothing to do with the racial aspect. It just has to do that it's not original. It would have been treated just like any other horror movie back in the day. But anyway, Callum Lyle says, I forgot to say that the She-Ra 2018 people who touch themselves are crying the show is being taken down. Boo-hoo. Well, it'll probably get brought back up on Peacock, because I think they're just, the license is up is all for that, because
Chado?
DreamWorks actually produced
Yeah.
that show.
Chado, stop crying.
Yeah, stop crying about She-Ra.
Yes.
She-Ra. Now that show was gay. Like it literally was gay. Everybody was a lesbian.
Well,
in it.
Bo was
didn't-
gay.
I didn't watch
Bo was
it.
definitely gay.
Well, he was the only one who was gay. You're right. Everybody else was a lesbian. You're right.
Oh, speaking of Dusk Till Dawn, 30th anniversary just happened this past week.
Well, it's supposed to be coming to 4K eventually this year, I think.
I mean-
Pack of Proton says, wasn't He-Man the last animated show in the U.S.?
I mean, like animated
Mm.
domestically? don't think
If you
so.
mean like that they actually did it. Well, I think almost all of Filmation's animation was done in the U.S., wasn't it?
Yes, it was. But I don't know if they were the last.
I
show
don't.
that
Yeah, I
was
don't know if
done
they
in
were the
US.
last. Yeah,
Might have been the
but
last.
I see what you're
She-Ra
asking.
show. I mean, well, no. No, She-Ra was the last one that was fully animated in the U.S. from them.
I was gonna say, yeah, he might be right. But well, if you can count She-Ra as season 3 of He-Man, anyway.
Yeah. Just trying to think, because no.
Well, I don't know if
Dreamworks-
She-Ra herself was a lesbian in the show, but I know like half of her fucking friends were in that show.
Well, the witch was like there's the mother, the daughter, so and then there's She-Ra. So those 3 were straight. And then everybody else was kind of gay. Even like Katra was a little.
They were at least some shades of gay, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. I don't know for sure. I'd have to look that up, Pack of Proton, but I get what you're saying. Grimzilla says, can we just admit that the 2000X Motu was the best now? I think we have for years. I don't think anybody's really argued that point, but I get what you're saying, Grimzilla.
It was pretty
Yeah.
good. The only thing that was ridiculous was the amount of somersaulting all the characters would be doing in those episodes.
It was over-designed, a little overly anime
Yeah.
influenced, but outside of that, it was great. The storytelling was great. Honestly, I just heard about this. I don't know if Andre knows this or not. That's coming to Blu-ray finally.
Cool.
From I believe the same people who did the original series. I don't know about the '89 series, but
Dude,
I think-
they just I don't know if Andre heard about that, but Cobra Kai was announced too, right? Full
yeah,
season.
these Cobra Kai, coming to Blu-ray
Yeah,
finally.
brilliant. Yeah, good.
And then Pack and Proton's been a member for 21 months. Thank you for that. And then Bass Player 2011 Iffy says Warner Brothers' mistake was greenlighting Supergirl before Batman. Whoever did that needs to be fired. I'm not gonna. I get where you're coming from, but until I see Supergirl, I'm gonna wait because I have a feeling Gunn has a plan.
That not only that, you can't greenlight something then force it into production. That's what Marvel did and got them into a bad situation. Again, DCU's mandate is that if the script is good and they believe in it and they think it can meet what they need it to meet, then it goes. And Batman is a character with such scrutiny attached to it that it's really hard, especially with current DCU, to get that script exactly where they want it, where they think this is going to be that big hit that they want the character to have.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I'm not sure the movie will do as good as or nearly as good as Superman, but I don't think it has to. I don't think it's budgeted to.
It's a pretty small budget compared to Superman.
And then Dark King says, "Is Brave and the Bold the sequel to Young and the Restless?" Yes.
No, opposite. Actually, Brave and the Bold came out in 55. Young and the Restless was what, 72, 73?
Yeah, but we got that joke. Damn it.
What about General Hospital, the Batman series, General Hospital?
Batman General Hospital. Thomas Wayne and his doing all of his doctor stuff
That's
with
right.
Dr. Leslie Hopkins. and
Gotham Hospital.
Gotham Hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, the most boring fucking show you could do. Pack and Proton says, "Tom, check your Tweety. Real AI He-Man images." All right, let me see here. Pack and Protons. Oh wow, he sent me a bunch. They're still loading up. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
while you're looking for that, I just want to say about One Battle After Another. It would be an absolute disgrace if it wins Best Picture. Absolute disgrace.
Point.
And Chase Infinity did not get nominated for Best Actress, which was a great telling sign because I don't think any of these people should have been nominated for that film. And it's a lot of wasted nominations and for other deserving films. I just wanted to say that.
And this image right here shows you why Dolph Lundgren went with the mullet instead of the Prince Valiant.
Right, because this is the Greta Thunberg version of He-Man.
Well, this just shows you in real life the Prince Valiant just wouldn't work on He-Man. You got the mullet maybe, but not the Prince Valiant. No.
Prince Valiant is old. Are we wrapping this up, guys?
Yeah, there's more here, but it's going to take me
No,
10
there
years
isn't.
to load all these
No,
up.
there
so
isn't. There's no
No,
more.
we don't have to, we don't have time
have
to
time
load
for it.
stuff. Yeah, we don't have time for that.
There
Yeah.
is no more.
I appreciate it, Pack of Protons. Yeah, but I haven't got time to go through all these. I appreciate it, buddy. Was there anything on the Rumble side? I don't think there was. Are we even on Rumble? I guess we are.
We are on Rumble, yeah.
But no, the mods didn't send me anything, so hopefully we didn't miss anything. But I want to thank you guys for being here today. Script, what you got going on? Script on Saturdays still?
Yeah, I got Script on Saturdays this Saturday. CC Karaoke will be joining me, and we're going to be reviewing a screenplay of alternate Hollywood history where Audrey Hepburn was secretly a spy for the U.S. government, taking out communists throughout the world. It's a comedy.
Oh, the good old
Alright.
days.
And thank you, Mr. TT. He says there's nothing from Rumble. I appreciate that, sir. And then we got Paul. What you got coming up? Any appalling news?
It's Appalling News' turn today, so I'm looking into the options.
And I'm obligated to ask, when are we getting our next TV guide video?
I'm behind.
We know.
What's his name? What's his name?
He-Man.
Oh. And with that, Paulie, what you got going on? You got cocaine on your desk. No, just
Yeah, no, it's honestly, it's cookie crumbles.
kidding. Snort
That's
those
what
cookie
a hard-
crumbles.
that's
Don't let
what a
them go to
rock-
waste.
That's what a sober rock and roll star I am. 4 p.m. for later
Cuatro.
today, 4 p.m. a las 4. I will be live membership stream, and I got a banana. Oh my god, I can't believe it.
I see a
Wow.
puppy. That's why I made
You're
it
the one that
bigger.
aimed your camera there.
No, I
Yeah,
don't
I
want
don't know what
to
you're
put it on
doing here.
I don't want to put
Nice,
on-
nice banana in your pants there, Paulie.
See, this is why you're gay.
Oh, Peter.
Sundance is here, and we got the review of the Luis Valdez documentary, Tom. He's got the Life and Times of Luis Valdez. It's called American Pachuco. We got the review. This is the man that did Zoot Suit, La Bamba, and started a whole thing. Lou Diamond Phillips and Edward James Olmos were with him at the Sundance premiere, and so we have all that up for you guys. LatinoSlant.com. Take care, everybody.
Awesome sauce. Send me the link for that. Whoop. I didn't mean to remove you.
Yes, I am left-handed.
Yeah. No. And then Paul left. So, Andre, anything to plug before we go?
I don't think so. Be sure to check out all of the channels just listed. Check back over the weekend for more videos. And with that, let's bring on the koalas in the rain.
Oh, you got a super chat.
Yeah, let's do that one. Then make it rain.
I don't know what happened to Tom.
Who knows? Let's see.
Want me to bring it up?
Super chats. Here we go. Breaking news. Ezra Miller convicted for crimes against acting for The Flash. More news at 6. Indeed, we'll get back to those news with that. With that, then, it's time to make it rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given.